I want to thank everybody for coming. Neighborhood Watch has a lot of these events throughout the year, usually 3 or 4 of them. I'm happy to have you all take time out of your busy days to attend. I am Linda Miner. I'm the Executive Director for Neighborhood Watch. This is my board of directors. Say hi, everybody. How many of you are Neighborhood Watch volunteers? Recognize a few of you coming in. Thank you very much for all you do. We are a big piece of keeping crime down in Sun City. So I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant McCauley and his team, and I just get to sit and relax and enjoy the show.
All right, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for coming down today. I just want to give you a little introduction of my team and I before we get started. So first off, my name is Jesse McCauley. I'm a patrol sergeant with the Lincoln Police Department. I've been with Lincoln going on about 13 years now. I'm currently assigned to a graveyard shift, but I work regularly with Linda and all of her folks, and I'm grateful because, again, the Neighborhood Watch is truly our eyes and ears of the city of Lincoln because we can't be everywhere. We can't be on every single corner. So I wanted to thank you and just give you a shout out. I really appreciate that. I'm going to pass off the mic to introductions for the rest of my team.
Mm-hmm. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jamie Carbajal. I'm a crime analyst with Lincoln Police Department. I've been with the department for about 3 years now. For those of you that are not familiar of the purpose of a crime analyst, my main focus is to identify emerging crime trends and patterns, communicate those issues to patrol so that they can intervene, as well as community education.
My name is Officer Bryce Rogers. I'm currently assigned the Specialized Resource Team, which essentially is something similar other agencies would have as a POP team or problem-oriented policing. Essentially, it's kind of the catcher's mitt for any of the issues that patrol can't directly enforce or handle or do not have the time or the means. And so we're kind of the do-all of the department or for assignments or the things that the community needs as far as enforcement or extra security within that community as well.
All right, so I want to thank everyone for coming down today. We're going to kind of jump into this because I've been told we've got about an hour and a half window, so about 2:30. So I want to give ample time for questions if you guys have any. So we'll kind of jump right into this. All right, so the types of scams. There's numerous types of scams, and with technology, they're getting more creative and more creative. So the most common one that people are used to are the telephone scams, right? So you've got, I'm a lawyer, I'm calling from requesting bail money, or it's the Lincoln Police Department calling to tell you about a warrant you have. I'll tell you right now, first off, we don't call people and warn them that we're coming when you have a warrant, okay? Because my favorite thing to do is not tip off the person that we're coming over to their house. I like to surprise them at the front door with a bunch of patrol cars and uniformed personnel. So law enforcement will never, ever call you. Government officials won't call you and say that you have an arrest warrant for you and you need to pay with Target gift cards. Kind of odd. Don't you think that's kind of weird? So be very cautious. But it's easy to fall for these types of scams because these people are very convincing. They're very aggressive on their phone, and their purpose is to try and keep you occupied, keep you busy, and not allow you to talk to your friends or family to question whether this is a scam or not. And I personally, on my free time, because I get scam calls a lot, I like to waste about 20 to 30 minutes. If I can waste an hour of their time, I would. My wife finds it amusing, but if that means it prevents that person from scamming the next person for another 15 or 20 minutes, I take great pleasure in that, and I sleep very well at night. Because these are very evil people who prey on people who have spent their entire life saving and they're enjoying their retirement, like you folks now. And you should be entitled to keep that and not have to deal with that type of stress. So the other types of scams that'll come up is internet. We'll have like pop-up download requests. So as we're going through the slides, we'll kind of give you some examples so you guys can see what I'm referring to or what it looks like close up. But for the pop-up, it's like you're going to say, oh, you have a virus on your computer, or you have a request asking for information, and shortly after, once you download these certain links, these people are, I'll tell you right now, I am not tech savvy. I rely on this incredibly smart woman right here who knows how to do, I mean, she can dance circles around me on these computers. So computers can be tricky. And even for me, I mean, I've been around technology for a good portion of time, but there's little things and tricks of the trades that we want to show you to pick up on to prevent you guys from clicking those links and falling victim to those phone calls from these people or gaining access to your computer. Because just a show of hands, how many people keep personal information, whether it's banking information, whether it's credit cards, all your like personal information? How many people keep this on your computer? Quite a lot. So can you imagine if someone gains remote access, how many people are even aware that you can remotely access into a computer, even if you're in another country? It's possible. It's 100% possible. Our IT department, when I'm having issues with my computer and I say, look, I'm a cop, I can't figure this thing out. I know how to arrest bad guys, but I don't know how to work a computer. I call IT, they remote into my computer and I'm watching them move the mouse around on my computer. It baffles me how they can do that. But technology, it's there. And then the next thing that is going to be most common is the phishing emails, fictitious emails, the bank alerts. You're going to get emails saying you had a fraudulent charge for $20,000. If you don't approve of this, please click this link. That's a complete bait process right there. So don't fall victim to that. All right.
So gift card scams. I'm sure everyone's heard about the gift card scams. They've been going around for years now. That the individual on the other side of the phone, either or on the computer, are asking them for some form of payment for something that occurred, and they'll create some sort of urgency. The urgency is so they can keep you under pressure to make unreasonable decisions, right, or rational decisions. And what they'll do is, for example, they will call, this is just an example, say your granddaughter or grandson has been involved in a DUI collision. The other person is harmed. They're in the hospital. They're currently being booked into the XYZ jail, right? And what they'll do is say, oh, I'm the attorney. I need payment. And I need the form of payment. I need you to go to the store and get me $300, $500, $2,000 of Walgreens, Target, Home Depot gift cards. So because they'll create the urgency, say, oh, well, the judge is going to be hearing the case next. If you don't get me these as soon as possible, there's nothing I can do for them and I'll have to move on to another client. So oftentimes folks will go to the store, get the gift cards. The individual will ask while they're on the phone, and they will keep them on the phone while they're purchasing them. The clerk or teller will then even say, this may be a scam, and they will coach the person what to say so they can continue their purchase. So what they'll do, once they're done out of the store, they'll go sit in their vehicle, scratch off the back like a scratcher, give them the code, and now they have the money and the funds. These things go on over and over again, and they're getting more sophisticated. Oftentimes, too, to go with this, you may also receive a phone call, and the phone call may say your bank's name on it. I don't know if you're aware, but you can actually spoof a phone number now to say it's from Bank of America, Safe Credit Union, Golden One. It looks legitimate, but it's not. And they'll do the same thing where you have an unauthorized transaction on your account. We need to get a refund, and they'll do the same thing with the gift cards. Just be cautious.
Real quick, how many people purchase gift cards for their grandchildren? I mean, holidays are coming up, right? So you guys go you go into the store, you buy the gift cards, you look at the back of the gift cards. Another thing we want to kind of touch on, because this just kind of reminded me of it actually, and we haven't seen too much of it in Lincoln per se. It's been a while, yeah. But so what these scam artists will do is they go into the store beforehand, they scratch off the back of the QR code. So now it's already scratched off. They screenshot that photo. So then you take that gift card. So they have this information and they're checking these cards daily. You buy that card. The moment you preload that card with money, they already have that code on the back. So something just to keep an eye out for when you buy gift cards, flip it over, look at the back, see if the little code on the back has been scratched off. If it has, maybe bring it up to the clerk and see, I think someone's tampered with this one. Maybe you should remove this off the shelf. Because again, that's a scam artist that had already gone in there, photographed that, and is just waiting for the next person to preload that card. And then you get that sad phone call, which I know when my daughter gives me her puppy eyes, I'm she's got me wrapped around her finger. I cave every single time. I'm a tough guy when it comes to law enforcement. When it comes to kids, I'm guilty as charged. My daughter totally wins every time. So imagine getting that phone call from your grandson or your granddaughter, and they're like, "Grandpa, thanks for the joke. That was funny. You sent me an empty gift card." I mean, I would hope they wouldn't be rude and call like that, but these things happen. It truly happens. So little things just to keep an eye out for. Gift cards, when you get to the store, you flip them over. Just look at the back, see if the QR code has been scratched off, okay? So the last slide that I had up is just the grandparent scheme. Similar thing. The video doesn't play well with the audio because it gives a lot of feedback, so we're not going to play that. But what I wanted to touch on this just kind of briefly is, how many are familiar with artificial intelligence or have heard about it in the media, heard about it in the news and everything else? So with this information, I mean, you can make videos and pictures with things. I mean, my daughter just spoofed me the other day. She said, "Did you hear that loud crash in the master bedroom?" And she took a picture of the room, and with artificial intelligence, she was able to make it look like my ceiling had crashed into my master bedroom. I damn near had a heart attack. I run up there like a chicken with his head cut off, and sure as I'll get up, there's no damage, there's nothing happened, but that's technology. It is crazy. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around it that you can jump online and just make these little notes or make a mention, insert a photo. So you can do that with voices, and you can do that with information. And think about it too. They're preying on people. They'll call all hours of the day. They'll call late hours of the night. So they're trying to capitalize on you either being tired, on medication, or maybe you just got out of a surgery. And sometimes people fall to it. And we all laugh and we joke about it. But there's a lot of people, sadly, that I come across of that we've had these type of events where we host these scam events, and they go, I didn't want to raise my hand and speak up, but I actually fell victim to that. And I knew beforehand it was a scam, but that's my point I'm getting across, is these people are aggressive. There's a lot of pressure they put on you on the phone. There's nothing that keeps you on the phone. Just hang up on these people. I like to be a little bit more rude with them, but that's just who I am because I find it amusing. So, all right. So anyone who has a smartphone, if you guys wanted to take a picture of this, I like to have this up on the screen, just the fraud hotline, or you can also for elder fraud at placer.ca.gov, along with some of the flyers we'd hand out for submitting information, which we'll touch on a little bit more as we go through our slides, but ic3.gov, that's where they kind of track. FBI goes through a lot of information. They take this data and they go through a lot of these things. So give everyone a second to kind of get a photo of this here.
Right.
Well, because now when you walk into Safeway or Raley's, you see a row of like 20,000 gift cards, because it used to just be like 4 or 5. Now, apparently you have an option to fly to the moon, apparently, with some of these gift cards. Every gift card's different. So just look at the back. If you see that there's because on majority of the gift cards, there is a code that you have to scratch off. If you don't see any section, that's not the biggest thing. And it doesn't matter what the gift card is to make it easier. If you look like the card's been scratched or tampered with, bring it up to the front and just get a different one just to make it easier, because there are so many different gift cards. I could probably spend an easy 30 minutes just showing you the variety of gift cards that there are out there. So.
So some of the red flags, some of you may already know, some may not, but for your texts, right? You'll get a random text off and then now you'll have two-part authentication, right? You go to sign in your account, it'll send you a text message, send you a PIN, and then you put that PIN in on the screen, and then you're able to access your account. Sometimes you'll also, I don't know if you've got it, but I have, and I know he has, you'll get a USPS notification that your package has been delivered or it's been delayed, right? With a link. Don't click on that. It's bad. But your PIN, don't ever give your PIN to someone, because going with the phone scams, if someone is on the phone with you and they sound legitimate and all that, and you're going through all this and that PIN comes up on your phone for a login, That's definitely a red flag because they may ask you for that, right? And if you're not logging in and you get a PIN notification, might be time to go visit the bank as well or whatever financial establishment there is. Also, of course, asking for your social security number. Oftentimes the branch is going to have that, right? I just received a spoof phone call from Safe Credit Union the other day. Comes up on my phone, Safe. The number matches Safe Credit Union. But whenever I get a fraud notification on my phone, it's automated. This person was speaking to me just simply on the phone, which is unusual, right? So red flag number 1. Number 2 is they say, do you have any transactions or purchases that you've made in Michigan at Walmart? Nope, sure haven't. Okay, well, those are fraudulent. I said, okay, what's the last 4 of my card number then? Crickets, because they don't know it. So I hung up and proceeded to go to my bank account, log in myself and go, yep, that was a scam call. But it looked legitimate. They introduced themselves as a Safe Credit Union representative, sounded legitimate, but it wasn't. So oftentimes they'll move along super quick in the urgency to make it go by to where you can't have any sort of rational thought process going because the urgency is moving on to the next thing. You're just answering. And then sometimes you got to take a step back and just go, wait, this isn't legitimate. Click the link, of course. We talked about that. Your phone, asking personal information, requesting gift cards or cryptocurrency. How many of you are familiar with Bitcoin? How many of you know what a Bitcoin kiosk is? No. What if I told you that a scammer can send you a QR code on your phone and you can go to a Bitcoin kiosk, scan the QR code, put cash in for your grandson, granddaughter, whatever the means is, or family member, and you're now paying someone to their Bitcoin wallet. And there's no way to trace it almost because they'll transfer it from one wallet to another wallet to another wallet. Scare tactics, that's one of the things. I'll call the police on you. They'll come arrest you. As Sergeant McCauley said, we're not going to tell you when we're going to come and arrest you. We're just going to show up and handle business. Email, download attachments. If you get unusual attachments from unusual destination, who here knows that you can click on the recipient or the destination on top that sent the email to you to see if it's legitimate? Okay. Oftentimes it'll say Bank of America. But if you look, sometimes it will say Bank of America at B of A and then a whole bunch of other text afterwards. .com. Well, it looks like it because that's the name, right? But the actual email is a scam email. Another thing too is if you drop down the recipients and there's a mass amount of recipients, it's a scam. Because you'll see a recipient list that's 60, 70 long, as many as they can send. I don't know about you, but my bank doesn't send mass emails out and shares my email with everybody else. So, and then misspelled words, right? Oftentimes, biggest thing for even now, misspelled words. Technology advances. There's autocorrect translation now. They are getting better. So misspellings and errors are less likely. So be cautious. And an odd email address, which we just discussed about, right? Just be cautious. Vet your things sometimes. Unfortunately, as technology progresses, AI advances and everything, we're just going to have to be more vigilant. Okay?
And again, those phone calls you get from the bank, they are, like I said, so convincing. The phone number looks real. The person on the other end is giving you a load of information. Yeah, I am Joe Schmo. I am agent blibbity blob. I work with Wells Fargo. Let me put you in touch with my supervisor. They're just passing the phone to the next scammer. But disconnect the phone and then look on the back. So I've had the same scams, but on the back of my debit card, I flip it over and look at the number and I'm like, oh, it's a phone number from I bank with Wells Fargo. And I see that's the same phone number with Wells Fargo. So I'm like, okay, this must be them. But when they start asking certain personal information, now there are times that the bank's going to ask information, but there should be some red flags for you guys. And I really want you guys to pay attention to that because it's no different than when we call people. So we're dealing with an investigation. And I want you guys to truly think about this because this is a great example in my opinion. But I call someone, I said, hey, I'm Sergeant McCauley with the Lincoln Police Department. I'm investigating this crime. I wanted to talk to you about this. How do I know you're the cops? That's a great question. And for us, it's a little frustrating because we're like, okay, we have to wait for them to call us back. So generally what I tell them is I won't give them the phone number. I'll say, look, I recommend you look up the phone number for the Lincoln Police Department. I want you to verify by calling the Lincoln Police Department and verify that first off, a Sergeant Jesse McCauley, my badge number is 10, works there. And then they'll transfer you to my patrol phone when you're ready to talk to me. So little things like that. So if you're not sure who you're speaking to on the other end, disconnect. You have no obligation to stay on that phone call. Absolutely none. But with law enforcement, we would appreciate it if you call us back. So please don't hang up on us. That's your right. You have every right to. But if you want to verify who we are, it's as simple as just asking us for our information and look up the phone number, or we can provide it to you. But generally when someone's providing you a phone number, there's reasons behind that. So I like to tell people for personal reasons, I say, why don't you go ahead and do your own research, look up the non-emergency number for the Lincoln Police Department and ask if I'm just asked to be transferred to Sergeant Jesse McCauley. This is my badge number, and they'll verify, and you'll go through that process. So same thing with calling the banks. The person on the other line sounds fishy. Like I said, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So don't hesitate. Just hang up the phone. Get on your internet or get on your the back of your debit card, flip it over, call that number that you had, even though it looks identical to the one you just got in, and then go through the prompt messages and talk to an actual banker and get the information. Or old-fashioned, just walk into a bank. That's the best secure way to deal with that process too. So, all right, so this is just some of the information from IC3, and I apologize for the misspelling here on victims, but that's, I think I got excited when I was typing. It's a scam. Quick, everyone, get out of here. Everyone, I'm here to collect your credit cards. Just please hand them up. Thank you. Thank you. I did buy this uniform on Amazon. I'm just saying. So I see 3 victims over, this is like some of the data they collect, but I mean, look how serious it is. I mean, in 2024, 256,000 victims overall, and a 43% increase since 2023. Victims, 60 plus, they prey on that. They literally prey on that. $83,000 the average victim loses. $83,000. I mean, can you wrap your head around that? You spent your entire life saving and you're ready to retire. And now you're at a point where you have no funds. And I'll tell you right now, some of these investigations, after we're diving deep into these things, we find out that they're overseas. We lose all jurisdiction. We can't do anything at that point. So getting those funds back, it is incredibly difficult and it is very rare. Very rare. So 7,500 victims, 60 plus, lost more than 100K. So you want to talk about a smack in the face? I mean, this is very serious, very serious. And this is such a common thing that happens, but they do it because these evil individuals just sit there on a phone and they call people all day long. And all it takes is one person out of 100 people they talk to, and they may get 30K in 5 minutes. Can you believe that? It's crazy, but it happens and people fall victim to it. So again, if there's anything you take home from this, just be overly cautious about who you talk to and who you get text messages from. But again, 16.6 billion overall. I mean, these numbers, you can't make this stuff up, but it happens. It happens. So the Lincoln scam statistics for like one of the great things with having crime analysts is, which we haven't had the pleasure before, is we've been able to have her go through a lot of the data over the years too and kind of analyze stuff. And we'll start showing you some more charts as we get through here. But 54,000 average victim loss between 2022 and 2024, $70,000 average loss from year to date. I mean, this is Lincoln. This is happening. And it's not just in Lincoln. It happens everywhere. It happens in Roseville. It happens in Rockland. It happens in Placer County. It happens everywhere. So between 2022 and 2024, scammers instructed victims to purchase the gift cards in 22% of the incidences. So in 2025, year to date, it looks like we're still at 20%. So we went down a little bit. So maybe a few people listened to me and said, okay, maybe he didn't buy that cop uniform on Amazon. Maybe this wasn't a scam. But again, these numbers don't lie. But the other thing too is this is just what's reported to us. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, because there's a lot. We can't force people to be victims. I can't force someone to be a victim. But this is just what's been reported to us. There's times where we've gotten information from a neighbor who found out that their friend was scammed, and they've reported to us, and we go talk to them. They're like, "Look, I don't want to deal with anything. I'm just going to shut my accounts and cut my losses." And I'm like, this is crazy, but it happens. So this is just what people report. And there's a lot of people that, I hate to say it, but they're almost embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed. If anything, share your experience with your friends, your neighbors, your family. Yes, it's hard to say that you lost this amount of money, and it is embarrassing, but if you can help with your experience, share someone or help somebody out from something else or get involved in the same situation, spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as Sergeant McCauley mentioned, in some of the more recent data analysis that I've completed, what you're looking at here. Sure. So what you're looking at here is a breakdown of two charts. So the one on the left hand is between 2022 to 2024, and then year to date. And these are broken down, showing the most common types of scams. So as you can see, the blue highlighted bars are depicting the most common type of scam, or the phishing scams that Sergeant McCauley and Officer Rogers had previously mentioned. These are the fraudulent emails. They may come in via text message, impersonating your bank or family member, or other impersonations. And then followed by that, again, that's the top most common scam type that we're seeing. Same thing in 2025 year to date. And then followed by that, we have the tech support scams. Again, those may come in typically via email, or you may get a pop-up on your computer saying that you need tech support or other information. And again, those are the two common types of scam types that we're seeing between 2022 and 2024 and year to date in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, and what you're seeing on this slide, again, is a breakdown between 2022 and 2024. So the last 3 years, as well as 2025 year to date. We have it broken down by the age, most common age of scam victims. And you can see on both, which is very concerning, is age 65 and up, 74.2%. Adults ages 65 and up were the most common targets between 2022 and 2024. That same trend is what we're seeing in 2025 year to date. Again, ages 65 and up, 71%. Okay, on this slide, you're seeing what is referred to as a hotspot map. And these are where we're having the scam incidents reported. So this is depicting, again, between 2022 and 2024, the last 3 years, hotspot map of where most of those scams are being reported. Same thing year to date on the right-hand side. Mike?
Yeah, so it's hard to see because it's great, but to break down, it's the orange kind of clean. You can't see it. And B4 is considered the Sun City Delta. So if you look at the heat signature, which is hard to see, but right in here and right in here, these are like, so it's basically showing a map of most of these calls and these things that are happening are in Del Web. The numbers of Lincoln, you still have it like Lake Cloth. Yes, I mean the data knows a lot. You look at the data. All.
Okay, and this should be, I believe, the last slide for charts. Again, we have the same thing or same time frames that we're looking at. Last 3 years, 2022 to 2024, and then 2025 year to date. And this is depicting the top neighborhoods in Lincoln for scam victims. And as you can see in both charts, it's depicting Sun City as the top. So for the last 3 years, we had 42 reports. And year to date, we've had 28. But based on the 2 reports that came in this last week, that's going to be up. So that should be 30 reports year to date. And again, last 3 years, it looks like 46.7% of all victims were Sun City residents. Year to date, 2025, that went up to 57.1% of all victims year to date are Sun City residents.
Discouraged. Okay, who's familiar with the courier scam? Anybody? Perfect. All right. So the way a courier scam works is someone will call you by phone. It could be an email, and then they'll attempt to contact you. Okay. They'll attempt to contact you. And so what occurs is they'll get you to talk on the phone. They'll create some sort of emergent situation regarding family, friends, yourself, your bank account. And they'll either encourage you to start liquidating some assets, pull out some money out of your savings account, and make it so convincing that you take that cash, or some of them are precious metals too, or jewelry, and they will make it to where you believe that something needs to occur where you need to pay them in the form of cash or precious metals, and a courier will show up at your house and you will provide them those assets in person. They are getting pretty sophisticated. Some have been caught in the region. Some have been caught also in the Bay Area that were coming up here. But this is a trend that is increasing. As you can see by the chart, from 22 to 23, 1, 23, 24, 1. But from 24 to 25, we have 7. Because it's extremely lucrative. Oftentimes, it's a large amount of cash or jewelry that has significant value. And it's easy to put in a shoebox, put in an envelope, and hand to a person. Because now they're coming to you. You don't have to go do anything. And it makes it convenient for you, which makes it seem like they're doing you a favor, but they're not. You'd be surprised. So I'll touch on this then since we're here. Who here has a locked social media account, or your family does? Social media, Facebook, Instagram. Okay. So I could probably find multiple people in this room. Go on your family's social media account, go on fastpeoplesearch.com, find your address, all your relatives, and then I can socially engineer everybody in your family and make some grand scheme up about what's going on. So-and-so's on vacation. Make it sound completely legitimate. As, someone's on vacation in Mexico. They got in a car accident. They were with so-and-so at the time. Because I know all their names. I know how old they are. Right? I know where they live. I can find all this information out on the internet. But I can socially engineer all of that in a very elaborate story to where most of us would think it's legitimate. But it's not. But if you think it's legitimate, you'll probably fall for the courier scam or scam in general, right? So, because at the end of the day, we do care about the people we care about, right? So the folks that we care about are most important. We'll do anything usually for them. And that's what they literally pull on your heartstrings to get you to fall for the scam. So this is something that is very prevalent right now as a courier scam. If someone says, I'm going to show up to your house to pick up cash, don't do it. Just call us. Or, hey, let me call me back. Here's my phone number, and give them the police department's phone number. Okay? That works for me. All right? So just say, I got to take care of something. Call me back in like 5 minutes. Have them, and give them the police department number. Then they'll know. Non-emergency number. Yep. No, I'm serious. Because it doesn't go to our dispatchers immediately. It'll go to, thank you for calling Lincoln Police Department, and they'll probably hang up.
All right, so this one might be a little hard to see, but I wanted to give you guys kind of an example, looking at the emails. You might get something from like your bank. So from Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Safe Credit Union. So I'm going to just kind of jump up here. And again, I know the fine print because I'm blind and these are magnifiers myself. So right up there on the very top, one of the big indicators that says Chase Fraud Alert. Okay, so I look in my mailbox, I see Chase Fraud Alert. Maybe there's a chance I have some fraud in my account. Weird, okay. But next to it is the spelling of that email. Now, those that can't see this, it says admin@verregro.com. How many people think that Verregro and admin have anything to do with Chase fraud? Absolutely nothing. So those are the little things that you can look for, and you can save yourself a nightmare of headaches dealing with trying to get your credit back in order, getting everything, notifying all your credit reports. So by clicking these links, you start opening up the doors. You're basically handing them the keys to your financial information. You're giving them all the information. And those people that raised your hands earlier and said, I store banking information on my computer. I keep personal information on my computer. You just gave them the keys to the gate, and they're just coming in and they're going to take what they want. So keep an eye out for stuff like that. I mean, it's just as simple as, yes, it says Chase Fraud Alert, but look closely. Like my partner was saying, you hover over it, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is it you right click it or do you just hover over it?
So see where it says show detail?
So for those that can't see it, because I'm having a hard time seeing it myself, but it says show details right under the email in blue lettering.
And that'll drop down. Oftentimes they send something like this that should.
Please use a mic, otherwise you don't get on the recording.
Okay.
There are several mics down there.
Thank you. So again, if Chase is sending out an email, do you think Chase is going to send an email telling me about a fraud account to 30 other people? I don't think so. So just little things to pay attention to.
If you do click on that link, it will more than likely take you to what looks like a legitimate Chase page to sign in. Do you know what they're doing when you go to sign in?
You're
Keystroke recording, and you're now providing them your username and your password when you click login. So then when 5 minutes later, you get a notification on your phone, text the PIN. Don't be alarmed if you get a phone call shortly thereafter asking for that PIN, because it's a scammer now wanting to know how they can access your account.
my son has me.
My son has me so terrified of opening those that because he's told me that if I even open the account to look at it like we have it there, they could get my information.
Correct. So if you go to log into their spoof account, they now have both your username and your password, right? Oftentimes, I'm guilty of it too. I usually do it on things that aren't so important. How often do we share username as passwords? Well, how often? Typically, you shouldn't, right? But on things, I do it on things that really don't matter, like financial, of course, is different, but we do share passwords and usernames with things generally, and it's quite often. So there's a lot of information on the dark web. So there's also bots now on the dark web that will search your name and your personal identifying information to find your associated accounts. It's pretty elaborate. So, I mean, at a certain point, we should all be scared because technology is crazy nowadays, but you just need to be vigilant.
Sergeant McCauley, we are videotaping this and we'll share it with the community. Can you send me the slides and we can attach those as well because it'll be easier for them to read?
Yes, I'll work on that for you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Behind you.
Do you want more Q&A or do we want to finish the presentation then do the Q&A?
So we'll answer this question, but just after this, just for the sake of time, we're going to kind of power through some more slides and then we'll try to do some questions at the end so that way we can address everyone's concerns.
Okay. I'm a little embarrassed because I actually, months ago, I fell for one of these. And I don't know how they were able to do it, but they were able to get a copy of my computer. Things I had on my page open. And I had to get a new driver's license. And I got a lot of money back, but I didn't get all of it back. And just like you said, it just happened so quickly. And they caught me at sort of a vulnerable time. And I thought I was smarter than that, and then I don't know how. The only reason I actually caught on was he did have me, told me that now you just need to go get in your car. And he was able to see me on my phone. He was able to see me on my phone somehow. And I don't know how. But he said, okay, now you need to go get in your car. And I was recovering for something anyway. And you need to go to your bank and you need to take out $12,000. And then, no, I'm just letting you know it can happen to anybody. And I thought I was fairly savvy, but there's no question. Thank you.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for sharing your story. I'm really proud of you for doing that. Thank you very much. Because it is, and that was my point I wanted to get across is these things are embarrassing, and it really pulls on the heartstrings. It truly does, because this happens to your friends, your neighbors, your family, people in your community, and this is a perfect example of right here. A good person, and this happened to. So thank you for having the courage to speak up and share that, because I know that's not easy. So thank you very much. And moving forward,
Have you reported it yet?
I did
Good.
to report it to them. I banged because they had me sell money as well. That was just ridiculous.
No, it's very important for everybody to remember to report these. These guys are here to help us. We're going to cut off the questions and get to the presentation, and then we'll
yeah, so we're going to jump right back in so that way we don't, I know you have some questions and I don't want to disregard you, but
Please.
She was a victim of a scam, so she was struck.
Why this way, man? You okay?
So it sounded like she got scammed through getting the phone call or clicking a possible link.
Mike. There.
That I had been scammed. And I guess it was through, and I was calling Apple support and I thought, because it sort of happened before, I mean, not to the extent, but anyway, I'm like, okay, anyway, and that's how I got conned into it, which was really stupid in hindsight. But anyway, it was just.
Again, these things happen, and it happens so fast. You think okay, I went to one of these presentations. I'm not going to click on this. I'm not going to answer this phone call. And then the next minute you're caught in that roundhouse of falling for it. So again, thank you for that. I appreciate the courage that it took to speak up for this. Okay, so going to the text messages, this is kind of like just a text message example that I wanted to give you guys. I have Netflix. I don't know how many people have streaming video or something, but you may get a text message. But here, Netflix, please update your membership with us. Continue watching. Now, if you look closely, the link they want you to click, again, going back to this, Betty13.com with a bunch of numbers and random letters. Pretty sure that has nothing to do with Netflix. That is something that you could easily open yourself up to this unfortunate situation that she had to deal with, which is horrible and horrific. But by clicking that link, you open up a lot of things in your phone. You open up a lot of information to these individuals. So again, just highlighting on that, pay attention to those little details in the who it's being sent from, who emailed you. So just close attention. It takes a few extra seconds out of your day to look at that stuff.
So what do you do if you get scammed? Everybody know, because it's up there, right? Monitor your credit report. Okay, so monitor your credit report, monitor your financial accounts, contact your financial institution. Do not contact the financial institution that you received the email from. Just go to the branch yourself and tell them, hey, I think there's some issues with my account. can we look at those, please, or review them? And then if you're unsure, you can always contact your local police department. That's what we're here for. Okay. Our dispatchers quite frequently receive phone calls regarding, hey, I received this phone call. Do you think this is a scam? They'll provide their insight as well. They're experienced on providing the public information also. So, because they get the first phone call of what happened, right? Typically, and they give that information to us. So when they take those fraud calls and they come up on our boards, as we call it, for a call for service, they're the ones taking that. So they know the trends. They know what's going on for the most part. Okay. And they're able to give you some guidance as well. Also, we like to have that information. If you receive a phone call from the Lincoln Police Department about your warrant, feel free to call us and let us know that you just received a phone call from the Lincoln Police Department. That is a spoof call. We like to know that happened. We track those as info calls, and it's good for statistics, which our analyst, Jamie, can track. Okay?
Okay, so now that we're in that kind of question part, I want everyone to just fire away. We'll kind of go, we definitely want to make sure that we're on the mics.
Make sure you're on the mic. And for right now, can we keep your questions to SCAMS? And then if we have time left, they have other things on their mind as well.
Just like the previous gal, I got scammed good. But the guy called and he got me to go down to my bank, which I did. And the bank looked at me because they know me. And they said, why do you need $5,000 or whatever it was? And I said, oh, I'm taking a trip. It was very amazing how fast I came. Then so they looked at me. They know I travel, but nevertheless. And they said, are you sure you need this? And it had to be in cash. Oh, it was $7,000. Then I had to go down to Safeway to pick up a card.
Gift card, yes, ma'am.
Right? Well, the manager at Safeway, bless her heart, said, you don't want to do this. I said, well, how do you know? Something about a card. She's the one that came, which very alert down there, and apparently they've been prompted on this. So she sat me down and we talked and decided it was a scam. So she got on the phone with the guy, and he stayed with me all the time. His name was Brian. I'll never forget. Anyways, nothing happened. I never lost any money. I went and put the $7,000 back in the bank. Now, when I talked to the bank, they told me this 3 days ago, they never call you at home. I call you? No, they said they will never call you. That was B of A. So, and a guy called me the other day, he was from the Bank of America. He said, how are you? And I said, oh, great. Well, he said, I have to talk to you about something. And I, for some reason, I don't know why, very quietly said, officer. And he hung up.
Just a reminder to everybody, these mics, you need to hold them up to your mouth very closely so that the people, especially when they see the video, can hear you. Thank you.
I have a question. How do they get a legitimate number from Bank of America or Chase, whatever, when they're sending out stuff or calling you?
So when they do what we call a spoof phone number, what they can do is it's a program that runs either with it's most like on cell phones nowadays. You can spoof anyone's phone number. It could be the Lincoln Police Department, it could be the FBI, and the display number is what it changes. It doesn't change who's calling you, it just changes the actual display number that you see on the receiving end. So it's a program that runs in the background. They input the phone number they want to call, and then they input the information that they want to be displayed, and that's how it works.
Yeah. My daughter called me this morning from Seattle to warn me about a scam, and I want to know if it's happening down here. They said that people are getting packages, that they didn't order anything, and they don't know who it's from. And they're told to there's a white box at the bottom, and it's
a QR code, essentially.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you click on or put your phone to it, and click, it'll give you the information who the package is from. And with that, they're able to get information on you and everything else. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I have heard of it. We haven't had any reported in Lincoln, luckily. Again, not to say that there's people that have had it happen and they just don't want to tell us about it, because we're only as good as what the information people report. But yes, that is a trend. I have heard of it. But fortunately, I haven't heard of it happening in Lincoln. But yes, it is. You get a package. What she's saying is you basically get a package mail by the front door. It's got a QR code and says, "Oh, this isn't mine. I better scan the QR code," and it'll give you instructions generally sometimes. And the moment you do that, you're giving them access to all the information you have on your phone.
So what would you recommend if that happens? You get that package. There's no return address on it. There's just the QR code.
Yeah, because we haven't seen them, I can't attest to what they generally look like, but that's just the general information that we've heard from other agencies around.
We can call you guys.
We'd be more than happy to come out and take a look at it.
All right, thank you.
Have we ever had any of our postal delivery places hit by people and taken our mail here in Lincoln? Has that ever happened in Lincoln at any of the places?
So that has happened. As far as this year, I'm not aware of any actual trends as far as them targeting specifically the USPS mail clusters and the boxes within the city. There was a large group, a few of them. Most of that has been addressed now. That trend is kind of seemed to be stale at the moment. Most of the mailboxes that were hit or damaged, have increased security measures now versus just a general key that worked was a master key that worked on everything. They were also prying them open, but with the enhancement of those cluster mailboxes that have been replaced, there's additional security features.
Have they ever thought of putting cameras on those that have been hit once? Because if they get hit twice, it was on TV. It was on TV just yesterday, I believe, that when they hit the mail, they look for credit cards, and those credit cards are the people take them and they run up big bills in a hurry on them. So I was wondering about the cameras. Now, I have a camera in front of my house, but I hate to put it on, where the mailbox is, because my little thing would be clicking all the time and I couldn't keep batteries around.
Yeah,
so I thought if they've been hit once, it might be worth a camera on your part.
So the USPS mail clusters are owned and primarily maintained by the Postal Service, which is a federal entity. That wouldn't be something that the city of Lincoln would be involved with. I know you touched on cameras, but Ring cameras are great. We can't really endorse any other specific brand, but they are the most user-friendly. That is personally what I use. Video surveillance is quite helpful for us in DeWeb for the folks that have it.
Well, my question being, I get phone calls from supposedly the police department asking for a donation. Is that legit?
It wouldn't necessarily be from the police department.
Well, that's what they said. That's what
Yeah. So saying. there are some entities out there that try to do fundraising generally for a police department.
Right.
That you would have to ask them specifically who they're representing, because we do have a Lincoln Public Safety Foundation. I'm not aware of them making any phone calls. Also, there are some larger police officer associations that generally call throughout the state and the U.S., but it may be one of them, so I can't actually answer that question entirely.
Well, I never give anyway. So
don't do it.
God bless you. I love that.
That's not, excuse me, last night on the news, they were talking about how your key fob can be relayed to somebody who wants to steal your car. And they said they could even get the information if your key fob was in your house and they were outside, they could get that information and steal your car. Would you like to address that, please?
So as far as the key fobs being replicated, the way that works is most folks now, even newer vehicles, have a remote start, and those devices still have a signal that's emitting technically, because it's no different when you walk up, put your hand in, it knows that the actual fob is there in your pocket, your purse, and you can open the door or unlock for you, or even turn the lights on for you, the floodlights on, or the puddle lights rather, on for you while you approach the vehicle. Those can be replicated. They have to make pretty sophisticated antennas that they have to hold up while trying to gain access with a programmer. We haven't specifically really seen that trend here in Lincoln. I know there were some cases, unless you drive a Dodge Challenger, Hellcat, or a Trackhawk, that those are specifically being targeted. I think you'd be okay.
Hello. Yes, I had something happen a few years ago, and where I called the police department and said, is this a scam? And it wasn't. But since there was no record of me calling and asking the police for their advice, I didn't. It didn't work for me. So when you get calls asking you for advice, do you have a record of who's calling you and asking you about a scam?
Do you want to go over the calls? She used to be a dispatcher, so.
Typically, yes. I can't guarantee every single time that the dispatcher that you speak with will make a record into our computer system, but I would like to say 95% of the time we do enter a call and close it out just so we have a record of it in case it becomes a common pattern trend later on. That would be more of the recommended thing, whether or not we actually send an officer to speak to that caller. So yes, I can't. The answer would be yes and no. Most of the time, again, 95% of the time, we should be documenting that call. However, unfortunately, sometimes that does not happen.
Okay. Does Norton and LifeLock protect us in any way from this? What's happening?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Does LifeLock and Norton, do they protect us from?
Those type of services help with protecting information. Yes, they definitely help. But what's not going to help you is, if you obviously buy a gift card or if you send your money through a courier scam, those services are going to be useless essentially. But yes, they do help. Yeah. If you think about it, the average cost of credit monitoring is anywhere from $10 to $40 a month. And I check my credit report often just to make sure there's no fraudulent charges, just miscellaneous open accounts. It's good to check your credit and monitor that stuff. But yes, those are good services. Again, because we're in law enforcement, we can't recommend certain services, but they are good and they are very popular. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Earlier you put the screen on the 5 beats that you covered here in Lincoln. And beat 5 is Sun City, Lincoln. And the crime keeps going up. What is being done to correct that? How can we, as residents and the police department, work together to correct that?
So to answer your question, he was asking about the slide that we showed up where the hot spots were, and in reference, it's beat 4. Beat 4 is the reference for Del Webb area. Sorry for the feedback. So how can we combat that? We're doing it right now. We're having these presentations. We're talking to people. How can you guys as citizens get those numbers to lower? Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your friends. Say, hey, I went to this event today and I learned 3, even if you learned 3 new things, share those 3 new things with your friends, your family, even if they live in another city. I want to protect everyone. That's my goal. Not just because I'm a cop, but as a human being. We're entitled to keep what we have as ours, right? So knowledge is power. Sharing that information to get those numbers down is education, and power of voice. Speaking to people, speaking to your neighbors. Like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but the more you share this information, like the courage that this young lady had to share with us today, it's an eye-opener. It happens in your community. So to get those numbers to get lowered, because crime's never going to go away. These people are all about a fast buck. They're all about just that if one person says no and hangs up on them, they go to the next person in line. So share as much information as you can. At least, like I said, this is just a kind of caveat, but 3 things you learned today, share that with somebody that wasn't able to attend or someone that has no knowledge on that. That's how we can get those numbers lowered down.
Yes, I understand that scams with ATM machines are getting more sophisticated. Is there anything you can say about that?
So his question was scams about ATMs. They're getting more sophisticated. They are. I mean, scammers have these pin pads essentially that just glue right over the top ones. Sometimes when I go up to an ATM, and my wife thinks I'm crazy, but it's because I'm a cop, the card reader, I give it a tug. I kind of pull on it, make sure it's not loose. I look at the pad and see if it's kind of loose or been tampered with. If it has, I immediately go inside of the bank, notify them for 1. And 2, I am not sticking my card in there, and I'm not getting any money out of that ATM. Because what happens is when they put those little keypads over over your pin pad, is basically recording the data. So they have think of it as a copy machine in layman's terms. It's scanning your card as it's going in once you put the card reader over, because they have like a clone. It's like a clone cover that goes over it. So you can always go into your bank and talk to them and see if one of the bankers will spend a few extra minutes to kind of go over, because every ATM is different styles. But if you're unsure about it, like I said, I always kind of give it a little tug. I'll check on it. I'll check on the pin pad, make sure it's not loose. But it happens. It's out there. Have we had any reports in Lincoln? I can't say that we've had any ATM incidences come up with that. Right now, the biggest thing is the courier scam, and then the phone calls and text messages. I'm sorry? Oh, someone paid with a card and their card was cloned, or they got...
Not me.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm not sure how appropriate this is, but one of the things that I try to monitor is these charitable organizations on TV. And even when I go to Safeway or somewhere and someone looking for money, I often will look under my app. I have an app called Charity Navigator, and it's very helpful. It tells, the amount of monies they bring in. It talks about the amount of monies they spend on administration, the amount of monies that go to the particular kind of work that they're engaged in. And one of the organizations that got in a lot of trouble from this organization was Wounded Warriors, because for a long time that was the gold standard for charities. And then they got in some trouble, and one of the reasons was this Charity Navigator group, and I'd encourage you to get that as an app.
No, thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
I have a house phone and a cell phone. Anyone that reaches me knows to use my cell phone. If my house phone rings and it says unavailable, do not answer it. That's a perfect excuse, because they will not leave a message, or if they leave a message, they'll just hang up.
I screen all my phone calls. It drives some of my friends and family nuts, especially if they're calling from a blocked number. But if it's that important and they want to talk to me, just leave me a message and I'll instantly call you back. But if I'm not in the mood, or I have my kids in the car and I don't feel like being a little angry dad with these people over the phone, I tend to let it go to voicemail.
I recently read about a scam called check washing, and I wanted you to explain to everybody here what that is. In this article, it also said, do not put a check in a mailbox. If you're paying a bill by check, take it to the post office, because if they break into the mailboxes that we all have, take the check and they wash the check. So can you explain to everybody what that means?
Sure. No, and thank you for bringing that up. That's a great topic. So first off, holiday season, right? You want to mail out those gift cards, the ones that haven't been scratched in the back, right? We want to send out checks, or maybe even some cash to loved ones or family. Again, don't put it in the mailbox. Or if you're in a position that maybe you're not mobile and you can't drive, maybe think about your courier schedule. Okay, so for me, I don't like putting anything in the mailbox the night before. I don't want it sitting in there all night. and have free game for anyone to break into it. Because those things, again, they've increased their security measures on those things, but not everything is resistant. I mean, these are bullet resistant or bulletproof to a degree, but certain rounds will still get through them at some point. So there's still ways to get through it. Now, going through the checks part, checks, just like money, currency, they can take $1 bills and then they wash them in a special solution. And I'm not going to give you guys the recipe here. But then they reprint, basically trying to make those into $20 bills. So when you take those, same things with a check, they'll try to wash the information off or scrub the information off, re-put some or their information on it and go try to cash it. So if you're going to mail off something, I mean, I'm still old-fashioned. I like to send off checks for certain things, or if I have to pay for something with a check, going down to the post office and making sure it goes directly into the post office, that's a great way to do it. Or if you're going to send it in an envelope, don't just put it in an envelope, because I'll tell you right now, I hold a piece of paper, I hold an envelope. My kids do this to me. They go, Dad, I see Grandpa sent us some money. I can tell it's a check in there. I think that's $10. I got some. So take the extra time. If you are going to mail something, a check, money, or a cashier order, take a white piece of paper, fold it up, put it inside that piece of paper. You can look through some of these envelopes are super cheap. I mean, you hold them up to a flashlight or just even room light, the sunlight. You can see what's in it. And if someone is going through these mailboxes or someone is going through that stuff, so just think about that. Wrap it up, but go down to the post office is going to be your best bet to drop that stuff off.
Wait a minute, you need a mic.
Oh, we had one over there.
Hi.
We'll come back. Sorry.
Could you, since AI has gotten to be so sophisticated with mimicking voices, can you speak a little bit about using a family password if you think maybe this is your grandchild or not, how that would help qualify if it is or is not that person?
Absolutely. I've had these conversations with both my children. I have a child in high school and a child in middle school. And there's a saying or a phrase that I will use that I don't verbally say it out in the open. I don't say it so it's not like someone could pick up on it. My kids know that if the person picking them up doesn't say that, if I ever send some random stranger to pick them up, then you better beat feet southbound and down and scream or kick and bite and do everything. So yes, using passwords or coming up with some type of code, even if it's a special handshake or something, but for all intents and purposes, don't share it or don't say it out in public often, because again, people will pick up on that information. So I think that is a great idea. Yeah, if there's a PIN code or a specific number that you guys are, but just don't use birthdays, anniversaries. This is information that these people, they do research on you. They do. I mean, how many people, again, have social media, Facebook, Instagram? How many people have taken a picture in front of your house with your kids or grandchildren just for the holidays or something? Okay, well, that picture, you just posted your address, so now I can see your address in the background, which you inadvertently didn't notice, your make and model of your vehicle, and you also just conveniently happen to have stickers in the back of your car with your dog's name and everything else. So these little things, they don't care about the picture of you and your grandchildren, but they're looking at all the information in the background. That's why my kids hate me, because I won't let them have social media. Apparently I'm a bad dad, but I'm okay with that. So just be alert to where you're taking pictures or the information you're posting online. Like my partner said, you're sharing information of traveling, or I'm going to Mexico for the week. Oh, thanks for the red flag that I'm going to be out of the country and my house is free game because I'm going to Google my information, find his address. So it's just take those extra cautions to be careful about what you post or share. Before we jump to her, she was next. I'm sorry.
I still see people using a debit card to make purchases like groceries versus a credit card. How much exposure does that put?
That's personal preference, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes a lot of people, and every bank institution is different for the most part, but a lot of people say, if you buy things with credit card, you're more than likely to get your refund if you've been frauded out of certain things versus when it's a debit card. But here's the caveat too, though, when you're intentionally going down, or if you physically withdraw money out of your account, the bank's not going to always, especially if you were warned against it or you're caught up in a scam, sometimes the bank's going to say, you're not going to get reimbursed for those funds, unfortunately. So it's personal preference if you choose to use a debit card or credit card. I personally, I don't like using a lot of credit cards for stuff, but I use my debit card quite often. But I'm just cautious about where I use it and what I use it for.
Excuse me. The previous lady actually got my point, is that we had developed a family safe where not 2 weeks later, we got a call from our grandson who had been in a drunk driving accident in Arizona and who desperately wanted us to send him money. My husband handled the call, and all he kept saying was, safe word, safe word, safe word. And eventually they just hang up. So it is very effective.
So there you go. Prime example of that solution or that situation working perfect right there.
Yes. I had a visit walk up when I was coming out of the garage the other day with two gentlemen, and they were saying that they were from triple gas company, and they wanted to set up an account where you pay $40 a month for gas. And I told them, no, I don't do anything until I talk to my wife about this.
I've been married 17 years. I'm very familiar. My wife runs the house. I often just sign over my paychecks and I ask for some extra cash so I can go buy some stuff. But yeah, being cautious about that. You're going to have people that are going to come up to your doors, even holidays, just people are going to come doors. They're going to try and sell stuff, try to get you to buy things. I had a gentleman I was doing yard work the other day, and he came on the side of my house. I said, can I help you with something? And he actually showed me his identification. He was doing everything. He was actually getting readings from the PG&E meter, and he was going from house to house to house, and there was nothing suspicious about it. But I would have been the first one, especially being a cop, to kind of hold him accountable if he was doing something silly. But if you question it, if there's something's off about it, yeah, exactly. That it just, hey, I'm sorry, we're not interested. And if they get a little bit aggressive, I'm going to have to ask you to step off my property. If not, I'm going to have to call the police. And we're more than happy to remove people if they're refusing to leave, because we have some lovely jewelry that can go in their hands that we can help them facilitate that.
So just a couple of helpful hints for those of us that are using Facebook. You can go into your settings and you can change it so that only your friends can see what's happening on your Facebook page. Not friends of friends, just your friends. And then don't accept friend requests from strangers. And if you get a friend request from someone who's already your friend, or just someone you don't know or you do know, take a look at what activity they have before you accept their friend's request. Because I'll get a friend's request and I'll take a look, and they have absolutely no friends and no pictures, and they created their Facebook page last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so be very cautious about what you post and accept and do on social media. I mean, we're basically sharing all personal information for everyone to see online. And a lot of those default settings on some of these social media accounts will go to generally open for the public to see unless you physically go into it to make it private so you don't share this information. I think when the social media came out, it had good intentions, but obviously leave it to a criminal to find a way to capitalize on trying to take advantage of somebody.
One more scam question, then maybe we'll open up to some other things, because I know people have.
How are we doing on time? Doing okay on time?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to share. I've been scammed 3 times, but somehow I handled it well, and it kind of stopped. But I'll share one of them. I was looking for Blue Book. I wanted to see how much my car was worth. And so I went into the first link, and it turned out to be the worst one. And my computer went totally red, and warning, 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 warning. So immediately I disconnected everything immediately. Oh, and it said I had to call a phone number. And I thought, So I disconnected everything. I thought now it'll be just like an appliance. There's no totally disconnected from electrical, everything. I just went crazy. And then I left it like that for 2 days, and then it was perfect. It worked. But watch out the links, that you make sure that you click on the right one. Apparently this was the wrong one.
Yeah, so if you are a victim of clicking the wrong link, or someone hacks your computer and you see a thing saying, oh, you need to call Microsoft, because Microsoft all of a sudden has people just standing by and they discovered that your computer has a virus just 5 seconds ago. I'm calling, I don't think so. That's not going to happen. So, but if you're ever questioning, you did accidentally click it, my best recommendation to you would be, one, disconnect the power, disconnect the internet from it, remove all access to that personal computer. If it's Wi-Fi, make sure the computer is powered down, take the battery out of it. Find your local store that I can't make any recommendations, but if you find a computer place that can do repairs, say, I think I have a virus or my computer may have been hacked. Can you please run a diagnostic check on it? And it might cost a few extra bucks, but I'd rather spend that time to make myself careful, because I don't know what the average cost would be to get your computer run for a virus check, but I can't imagine it's astronomical by any means, but it'd be worth taking down and having someone take a look at it.
We have some very good people here who do that. Ask a friend, ask a neighbor. I don't know if is anybody here from Neighbors Indeed? Do they recommend for that one? I don't know. But generally, if you're going to let somebody in your computer, you want it somebody that you know or one of your friends or neighbors has used. Don't go off of a website.
Thank you. And I appreciate the gal that shared her story. Thank you, and the others. I would like to just suggest that we all put into place some hard and fast rules in your household and for your mobile phone about, number one, don't answer it unless you know who it is. Period. Standard operating procedure. You do not do that. And secondly, the other one, I don't recall.
Gone with the Wind.
Really important. But I'd like to ask if our retailers who sell cards, those gift cards, are all put on notice about advising people, especially seniors, about what perhaps might be going on.
So they are aware. They oftentimes will try to intervene. The issue is the folks on the other side of the phone will often coach the individual what to say to circumvent that, right? So, for example, we've had a victim here in Lincoln that went to Home Depot and purchased thousands of dollars of Home Depot gift cards. Multiple times. Every single time a different clerk approached that person and said, wait, we want to make sure, go ahead and hang up your phone. No, I'm on the phone with the contractor right now. It's for their payment, all these things. They need it for the supplies, and they have specific item numbers that amount is for from Home Depot. So it sounds legitimate to the associate, right? But they're trying to intervene. In all reality, the purchase goes through. So the scammers are very creative at times to where they know how to circumvent that system and that intervention. The retailers are aware. They do their best, right? And short of them physically intervening, it's not going to happen. But they do their best. We do often get calls too from retailers or concerned citizens. Hey, we think someone's being scammed. And we may respond, but sometimes they're gone by that time, right? But they are aware and they do their best.
Well, I have to say,
They do question it, and unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't sway us.
Just say,
I want to do first I want to thank these folks, and we'll get to general questions in a minute. So can we get a round of applause for their time? So generally, we have 4 of these presentations a year. We have one in the spring that is we will have police, fire, Placer Protects, and 211 there. We videotape all of them. If you have a neighbor who is not electronically inclined and can't get up here, please share this information with your neighbors, because they still get phones, they still get text messages. So even if you're not with Neighborhood Watch, I hereby say you all are our friends and helpers, that you help them out. I also wanted to announce that the Older Adult Advisory Commission is doing a drive this year for first responders for stuffed animals that when they encounter children during traumatic situations. So they're collecting them through the end of the month at the police station. And we wanted to give you guys some as well. On a lighter note.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and we've been actually really fortunate. There's been a lot of people. I mean, I have bags literally that can almost fill up my patrol car, and I am super ecstatic about it because every agency in the surrounding area is collected, and we have to the end of the month, and then we submit those, and then we divide them amongst different departments. And again, it's for children in traumatic situations where we will keep these in our patrol car and hand them out to the kids. So I just want to say incredibly grateful for those that have taken the time out of their day, driven down to the police department, dropped those off, and thank you, Linda.
All right. There was a gentleman, is he still here, that had an e-bike question? Can we get a mic to him? Not that anybody would ever question e-bikes. Can you raise your hand?
Mm-hmm.
And I only bring that up because we just had our annual meeting for Neighborhood Watch, and this was a key discussion item.
Yeah, this is about bicycles. And there are a lot of bicycles out there that are motor assisted or something, that type of thing, large tires. The riders at night are wearing all black, many are, and they don't have reflectors or lights on them. And also, so my question deals with, are they licensed? And is there a training program in terms of traffic? I've driven down in 5th Street and have them pull right in front of me crossing the street, and I've had to hit my brakes to not hit them. So what's the protocol on this?
Unfortunately, we don't have any training programs for some of these young riders. We do have a younger generation that seems to be, sadly, quite disrespectful in some aspects of ways, because I've dealt with some of them myself. We do address it by educational on case-by-case scenario when we deal with the individuals out in the open, whether it's with a citation, a ticket, or a conversation with their parents, even though they don't like that. I personally don't care, because if I can prevent them from getting hit by a car or getting run over or causing an accident, because again, some of these kids are driving reckless. The e-bikes, essentially, if it's a motorized bike and it has the, and this would be more of a traffic question because I am not a motor officer, which we have a traffic hotline too on our website, lincolnpd.org. If you have any questions for traffic related stuff too, he can give you specific code sections. But in regards to the kids on the bikes, reflectors, yes, it's required. You're required to have a light on the back or the front. The clothing option, there's no laws that say you can't wear dark clothing while riding a bike, unfortunately. But I mean, it'd be wise to obviously wear brighter clothes. But same laws still apply to the bikes, so bikes still have to stop at stop signs, just like cars do. Bikes can't be on the sidewalks. They're supposed to be in the bike lane, stuff like that.
All right, we're going to have to cut this off. We have another presentation starting at 2:30. Are you able to stay outside for a bit if people have questions? Yeah. So we're going to move out to the hallway, and those of you who want to stay for the second presentation, please do so. If you don't, we're going to hand it off.